Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Drive with Dom, this time at Atlanta Motorsports Park. So I thought we'd take a look at a battle of sorts that transpired in Heat 4 of my race. So in this part of the race, another guy and I end up sort of battling it out, if you will, for a bunch of laps, and ultimately he goes wide and I guess loses draft. It's an interesting battle in that I think there's much to learn, so let's press play. All right, so we begin. You can see a kart peeked its nose in on me right back here, and then I nonetheless take the corner. So I have company, in short. So one thing to note is that there's something in driving called the draft, and the draft is, I don't know, I guess it's like a pocket of air or still air or air that's been moved in your direction or something made by the kart ahead of you or the vehicle ahead of you. And you go faster in this area of, not sure what's going on with the air. But, you know, think about that scene in that movie where the guy's riding the bicycle behind the 18-wheeler because he's stuck in that sort of pocket, if you will. So anyway, at AMP, because it is a very long track, the draft comes into play. So going down the fast bits here, if you are within a certain range of someone, you will get pulled into them. And you can see that he also then approached me on the inside. I played coy, pretending that I am completely unaware that you're there, sir. I'm just going to go about driving my line, as always, and if should you happen to get pinched, oh dear. As you can see, so he realizes that I'm not going to back off, and he has to back out. And then I send it down here as hard as I can to try to make sure that he doesn't come by. I do a pretty good job, I thought, of getting down to the apex and riding out quickly. And then here I'm going to be hustling as mightily as I can to once again try to get a good run ahead of speed here. That looks like I screwed up. I didn't. That's intentional because we're trying to run as much speed up this hill as possible. And Chris, who runs the race, said, hey guys, you can use all the track, so why the hell not? So the apex is no longer the apex. We're trying to get as much oomph up the short part of the hill. Okay, so now this guy is probably going to try to pass again. Nope, he decides instead to stay with me. So this is actually good, right? If you've got a situation where me and another guy could potentially be working together, ultimately, two karts are faster than one. But this guy's kart is much faster than mine. As you can see, he's pulling away from me pretty easily. And I just kind of let him walk on by through that one turn. But, okay, so let's go back to here. He's going to walk me here. He's got way more speed. There's just nothing I can do about that, so I don't even fight it. I'm trying to get back under him so I can get behind him in his draft, but he doesn't understand that yet, I don't think. So he's trying to figure out what my intentions are, which are benign at this point. I just want to get back in his shadow. So he figures that out, and then he brakes. And unfortunately, I tap him because we hadn't worked ourselves out. And he gets a little bit offline, and I apologize. But I know he's going to catch me again real quick because of the draft. So once again, oops, okay. And then we've got a kart that's spun out here. Not a big deal, I'll do the usual, but he's going to take a different line. And I'm going to have a lot more speed up the hill, but again, he's got a pretty good kart compared to mine for a lot of the track. And you'll see that he makes a lot of speed in places I don't. And so we somewhat messily get through there, but we're both playing nice. At this point, he's like, yeah, I kind of lost some momentum there, so he's going to just back off and probably just let me take the corner. Tuck in, and we're going to go again. But what's frustrating, interesting about this is, so we have sort of a relative speed problem, which is his kart appears to be stronger than mine on the fast parts. I appear to be doing a lot better going into the corners than him. So we've got a problem, which is I'm faster in the corner, but he's a lot faster on the straights. So we need to work that out effectively. As it stands right now, this is working out okay. We're not fighting, really, although he got screwed once already. So I take a narrower line here than I have to because he's on my outside, but that's sort of what you would normally do, kind of. Minus the flourish at the apex there, that was attractive but utterly useless. Send. Hard. Okay, pretty good one. I'm just trying to go as deep into these corners as I can because I know that he's carrying as much speed behind me as he can. But, like I mentioned, I'm going deeper into the corners than he is. So that's working out on this end with him behind me. But with him in front of me, that becomes a problem. Mainly my problem, not his problem. But it becomes his problem when I run into him. Not that I'm trying to run into him. It just kind of happens. As you will see. All sorts of width there. Woohoo! It makes an enormous difference, by the way. If you take the within track limits line in the rental carts over there, you're putt-putting up that hill. I think somewhere on my site there's a video which shows me doing that compared to a guy that sort of putt-putts up the hill. It's like a 10-mile-an-hour difference, or at least a 5-mile-an-hour difference. All right, so this is the relatively benign stage of all this. I mean, not that there's, okay, finally. So his super duper power compared to mine obviously takes the day, and I happily let him go on. Now, we're gonna use his draft. And play the other foot. Or, you know, take the other position. All right. So far, we're not crashing into each other very much. Generally a good sign. Well, I'm very unhappy with that. I felt like I lost a lot of momentum. It doesn't really matter because I know that even though he has a much faster kart on the straights, the draft is so powerful. Watch this. And he brakes early. Wonk. Hello. So really not an issue for me, but I'm having trouble seeing how we're going to build lap times with him in front if he's braking that early. So again, you can see a rather massive one and I had to sort of emergency slow down at the end there to not hit him. So there's a big differential between his braking and my braking. But there's also a big differential in our relative speeds. And he's a good driver, he's just not braking as firmly and as late as he could, which is understandable because this track is a little weird and it is kind of slippery. And I don't know, the guy probably doesn't kart every couple weeks or something. So, but he's doing a great job and doing quite well. So let's enjoy the draft again. And we'll slowly chip back away at him. So you can see his kart has pretty good oomph. Whereas unfortunately ours did not. But it made a pleasant noise. That's sort of half the battle. Gotta admit, this looks quick too. Alright, another big gap up because of his not great braking. But this, you know, gets us a little closer together, and pretty soon I can start pushing him along. Assuming I'll run into him or do something. Oh yes, so instead, apparently what I do is say, I've got so much momentum, this looks tempting, let's just go ahead and pass him, which is of course not going to work. So, no, unfortunately, what I should have done is lifted. What I should have done there is lifted a little, let him take the lead position, tucked in behind and got a better run down here. Instead, we made it a little messy. That doesn't really matter because I'm going to smack him a good one in the hiney to give him some of the juice that he lost, and we should come out and end that okay. But not my finest work there. So I misjudged it. So in my humble opinion, this would be really great if I had the lead and he had the rear, so he could push me down the straights, yay. And I could brake later, which would be instructive, and ultimately help him brake later. But in the meanwhile, I'll blow it and do that instead. Mass downhill force equal mass times velocity, but angle thing matter too, or something. Must brake harder because hill. Alright, here we go. Yeehaw, let's go! Alright, I know that he brakes weird, so I'm giving him plenty of space, but so his braking is a lot longer in duration and a lot less firm in pressure. So you can see there I was effectively pushing him through the entire corner under braking. Not so fast to break his grip, but just enough to, come on, let's go. And he slides. So he's going to get the position back because of course he's faster. But that's me being a dumbass. Pardon my French. That is me being foolish. What I should have done was I should prioritize. I should have just let him have better sailing. Alright, now I get to push him again. Let's go. Yeehaw. Down the hill. Am I going to pass him again? Yeah, because I don't really want to push him downhill in that weirdness, but he'll come right back up. And no one is the worse for the wear there. And here we actually don't get in each other's way too badly. God, the draft is amazing. Look at that. And it's normally, oh, see again, this, all right. Braking is way off. Yeah, so I don't really know how to play this one, right? Because his braking is so early and so soft. You can see like the closing speeds are just too much on some of them. And anyway, so yeah, I'm not sure how to play this differently. So I think what I'm just doing here is trying my best to get up to him and to push him, and you know, hopefully we make better progress together doing that. But I'm having a lot of difficulty timing how to join with him on some of these, because his braking isn't up to the rest of his driving. His driving is good. He knows what he's doing and he's driving well. It's just his braking needs work. go. So I give him a nice, easy release there. And okay, harder braking. You get more braking. Could be the crap brakes on the kart too, by the way, because my brakes absolutely stink. Like, I do not like having to hammer the brakes. Okay, well anyway, that's it. That's game over on this particular fight. So he goes wide enough there that I think he loses draft, and I bid adieu to our friend of many laps and thank him for his sportsmanship. I apologize for hitting him in the rear of the cart multiple times. There was no ill will. This was just me trying to figure out how best to close on you. That being said, things that are really notable about AMP is, of course, the draft. This is a long track. The draft has a huge effect here. So, should you happen to be going there to race rental go-karts, remember that. Okay, again, you can see the huge close and gap up there. This is where you'll see the difference, I think, between the faster drivers and the slower drivers is going to be found in how they're braking, where they're braking, etc. I'm not a particularly good driver. If you want to see a more polished driver, how about my friend Andre? That footage is on my YouTube channel. So if you look up AMP and Andre LaFond, Andre ran with us in this race. He's quite a good driver and much more technically proficient than I am. So go check out this footage. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.